What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DGS. Alright, so, this next 30 minutes I have actually already recorded previously, but then the power decided to go out before I had finished up the outro. So, unfortunately that file has now been corrupted and is now gone. So, I have to do this entire portion all over again. Which, I don't know, I'm not really looking forward to, because there's one portion of it I'm just like, nah, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway. I believe we had just finished doing an investigation in this room particular, so I believe at this point we're heading out to the hallway. Let us go and do that again. Mr. Stroganoff at this point should have disappeared. Speaking of things disappearing, where's my stylus? Same day, unspecified time at the RFS Alucre First Class Corridor. Have a look at this, Naruhodō-sama. Stroganoff-san is gone. Stroga? That inconsiderate, muscly Russian crew member. No matter how hard I try, Russian names are just too hard to remember. La 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 la. What's that? I can hear someone humming in a loud voice. Our famous detective. I have no idea what melody is humming, so I'm just humming along with the song that I have that's supplied to me. This bold, caring voice. I feel as though I've heard it before. Well, setting that aside, this could be our lucky break. Yes, let's take this opportunity to investigate Nikomina-sama's room once more. Yeah, before that what's-his-face guy comes back. Stroganoff-sama. Thank you, Susato. Miko's room. Same information, except now we're in the first class cabin number 2. It looks like Nikomina-san isn't back yet. Susato-san. Are? Where'd she go? Hey, you can't do that, digging around in there. We don't have much time. We must investigate while we still have the chance. Alright. Alright, but only because it's for Asogi. That's not the only reason. Eh? It won't be long until we arrive at the next port, Hong Kong. Are you content being locked in those shackles until then? Susato-san. Aw, she's warming up to him. Let's solve this case with our own hands. Yes, let's. Alright. Begin investigation. This vent is the one that connects to Asogi's cabin, right? Yes, I'm still not sure why it was built that way. I wonder if... Maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak in one room, the other person in the other room will notice. Wouldn't the person in the other room also end up being poisoned by the gas? Well, I guess. Asogi saw a speckled rope here last night. Are you there, Naruhodō-sama? Yes? I have been all along. Oh, good. I was afraid that if I looked away for a moment, you might shut yourself up in there. I'm not some kind of bizarre cupboard man who feels the need to climb into every closet he sees, you know. That's a mouthful. Naturally, there's no one stuffed in here. It's full of beautiful clothes, likely ones that are used on stage. I wonder if maybe the small animal Nikomina-san refers to as her friend was in there. This thing, it's the same as the one in Asogi's cabin. It's a service bell. Let's go right ahead. Susato-san wasted no time in giving it a good hard yank. No one's coming, are they? They must all really be busy. Yeah, again, we're dealing with a murder crime here. Case. The books have been knocked over. Every single one.
Is this the guardian god of the sea, perhaps? It's fallen over, though.
I feel like we saw a similar scene earlier. In Asogi's cabin.
Perhaps Nikomina-san knocked them over in the midst of some ballet practice.
Huh. I wonder if she'd really be dancing again the first day after fleeing her country.
Then you must have thrown a tantrum and knocked them over, Naruhodō-sama.
Look, would you quit trying to blame everything on me?
At any rate, I shall set these back up as well. They're bothering me like this.
The trunk is open. Her case.
Oh! The trunk from earlier! It's open!
And it's empty. According to that famous detective's deduction, Nikomina-san was hiding her friend in here.
Yes, but she needed to keep that a secret.
Yeah, animals are forbidden on the RSS Alacre after all. Just, what was she hiding in here? And where has it disappeared to?
There's a plate that's fallen on the floor.
It looks more like it was put there than having fallen.
Perhaps. In this precise spot, there was a leak in the ceiling.
Eh?
I certainly hope it's okay. The ship, it's safety.
Well, even if that were true, I doubt that could cause it to sink.
Yes, most likely. I'm sure you're right.
Yare yare. All that's on the desk is a few books.
Recall that it was just last night that she escaped and came into this cabin.
By the way, I wonder what kind of books Nikomina-san reads.
Indeed. The books Nikomina-sama is reading are Russian books.
I could figure out that much on my own.
I think it's a tad unreasonable for you to have expected anything beyond that of me.
We weren't expecting anything from you! You didn't even need to answer! Susato-san, please! They're written over here too, huh? The RFS Alacre's ship rules. Bringing dangerous items on board, such as weapons or animals, is absolutely forbidden.
Having read this, Nikomina-sama attempted to hide hers in her trunk. Her friend.
But it looks like that friend isn't in the trunk anymore. Must be enjoying a leisurely stroll through the ship.
I pray that Stroganoff-sama doesn't find it and toss it into the sea.
That'd be pretty terrible, wouldn't it?
This teapot is empty.
Russians must be a people who get thirsty incredibly easily.
Or perhaps, since she just arrived last night, they simply didn't have any tea prepared for her yet. It's gotta be one of those reasons.
I'll bet 2 copper zenny on the thirsty idea.
You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodō-sama?
Just like in our cabin, there's a door with a simple bolt on it. If the door were bolted, no one would be able to get in.
This bolt. It looks small and flimsy, but it's likely not possible to break it by oneself.
The door is also made of iron, so you couldn't even use a magnet to break in from outside.
On top of that, it's closed very tightly to prevent seawater from being able to enter. So it wouldn't be possible to use thread or anything to slide the bolt from outside either.
I guess it's not unreasonable for them to suspect me. Alright, we're done here. Go back out into the hallway and figure out who is humming, but I'm sure we can all guess who it is. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Holmes. Looking at something. He's got a nice butt.
Ah, it's Holmes-sama. Geez, there's no telling what'll turn up next. Seems to be snooping through something while he hums.
Our famous detective. He's still singing, even though we're watching him.
He certainly seems to be in good spirits.
Yes, his name, the name of his is one that anyone knows. Everyone knows. Excuse me. Superior and supreme. That name of his is Sherlock Holmes-san! Whoa! What? It's only you? Don't interrupt people's songs! I was just getting to the good point. I kept waiting for you to announce your name, but you didn't, so I figured I waited long enough. I was about to whip around and use my spectacular boxing skills to take you out. Alright, I get it. Would you please quit swinging your fist? I know it's a boxing motion, but then when he does that one thing where he punches forward, it looks like a kitty motion to me. I love that animation though, it's great.
Now then, Holmes-sama. It seems as though you were investigating just now.
Ah, you mean this? Don't you see? This is the ship's log that giant of a crew member was writing in earlier.
Ship's log?
Is there anything unusual written in there? The page from last night, after 2 a.m. It's mostly blank. So in other words, nothing particular of interest happened last night. This is precisely the problem when it comes to dark-clad exchange students from Japan. Eh? It's clearly the opposite.
Whatever do you mean?
Just have a look at the other pages, then you'll understand. It seems that the crew member has been keeping watch over the first-class block all along, and that the ship rules specify that every 30 minutes the words "nothing to report" must be entered if that is the case.
Every 30 minutes. Nothing to report.
In other words, if there really had been nothing of consequences going on, naturally we could expect to see "nothing to report" written in here. However, the page in the ship's log for last night is blank. No report was written.
So then, could that mean...
For some reason, he was not at his post last night.
And just what reason would that have been?
That remains to be discovered, but it must have been a rather noteworthy reason. So noteworthy that... Why did the volume just suddenly went up? Hold on a second. That was weird. I don't know what just happened there, but the volume decided to go all the way up. Okay. So noteworthy that he forgot to go back to and write "nothing to report" in the log when he returned. You would do well to keep this ship's log in mind. Well, thank you. Recorded by the crew member who keeps watch over the first-class block. The pages between last night at 2 a.m. and this morning are mostly blank. Now I kind of see why he insists on calling himself a famous detective. It seems that you finally come to understand what makes Mr. Holmes, Mr. Holmes. Ow, ow, ow. Is something the matter? No, it's just... For some reason, ever since this morning, my head has felt oddly heavy. I suppose one would describe this sensation as throbbing. Now then, folks. Let us meet again sometime. I can hear his humming fading into the distance. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You look as though you have something on your mind.
Actually, the same is true of me.
Eh?
This morning, I can't help thinking that my head feels a tad heavy. And it's been throbbing this whole time.
You too, Susato-san? Why is everyone's head throbbing? Alright, well, now that we solved that situation, let's go back into Nika's room. And that can happen! The pilot health has issued an emergency brake. Word of the shadow of a ship 500 yards has been confirmed. Change of course or emergency braking is necessary to avoid collision. All passengers brace for contact or impact.
What's going on? It seems that this ship is in danger of colliding with another.
What?
Oh, we're sliding.
Susato-san, hold on to me! Susato-san, are you okay? Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much, Naruhodō-sama.
It seems that we managed to avoid collision. I think the ship stopped.
Naruhodō-sama, are you injured?
No, I'm fine. Oi! Anyone in there? Answer me! That voice.
Detective Hosonaga.
Is that you, Mr. Naruhodo? Quickly, open the latch! The latch?
Look, Naruhodō-sama.
The bolt. It's locked. Susato-san, did you bolt this door?
No, I didn't lay a finger on it.
That's weird. When the heck? Plus, these books. We just saw a scene like this not long ago.
In any case, I'm going to open the door now, okay?
I better return everything that got knocked around in this room to the way it was. The emergency braking was too exaggerated to be referred to as a mystery. There's a definite chance that something bad awaits on the other side of this door. Thinking that, I hurried to tidy up the wrecked room. Did you guys make note of the bookshelf and the locked door? I think at this point most of you guys can probably figure out how the door to Asogi's room was locked. Anyway, this is a to be continue, and we are continuing because we have about 10 minutes left before we get over. Unspecified time, Nikumina's room. At some point during the ship's emergency brake, the bolt on the door had locked itself. Susato-san drew a deep breath and quietly slid the bolt open. Oh boy. You two! What the hell do you think you're doing in Nikomina-sama's room? Sama's? Hey, Russian man, I don't think you actually speak Japanese. I'm glad to see you two are safe. Yeah, what on earth happened just now? We heard that announcement that the ship was about to collide with something. It seems that that was misinformation. Misinformation? It seems that the emergency alarm went off throughout the ship, but apparently it's due to the fact that the fog was so thick that it was difficult to confirm whether there was danger. So they executed an emergency brake for the sake of caution. Honestly, the ship is a mess, the passengers are upset, and the crew are frantically trying to get everything under control again. It's only the first class block that's relatively calm.
Is that so?
The emergency alarm rang, which means someone must have pushed that button.
Gah! You! Black suit invader!
Yes? That's the kind of nickname that echoes in your heart.
Nico's trunk! You snooped in!
No, it wasn't us.
It really wasn't. It was already like that when we entered the cabin. Detective!
Yes?
Catch them! Nico already knows. This man, culprit in murder incident, right?
He certainly is! And he was a stowaway on top of that!
Right now, take him away. Also punish him for intruding.
Murder, stowing away, breaking and entering. You really know how to pick 'em. In any case, there's no point in trying to come up with an excuse for this situation. There's a solitary confinement cell on the ship. I'll toss him in there right away. Tomorrow we arrive in Hong Kong. Then I'll hand him right over to the police.
Solitary confinement? Detective Hosanaka-sama, is there nothing that can be done?
This is a Russian ship. My police authority doesn't extend that far. I was able to persuade the captain earlier, but I'm afraid it might not go so well this time.
But
better find a way to resolve this crisis. And do it right away. Oh shit! Ah, there goes my size. Nico Mina-san.
get out.
I apologize for entering your cabin without permission, but
Never come again.
we need to investigate the some Russian word that I do not know what she's saying. I can't read Russian. Oh, she won't listen. I'll just have to find someone who can salvage this crisis. You've gotten me into quite the sticky situation. To think that you would unlawfully enter at a time like this. I'm sorry, I just wanted to find any clues that I could. In any case, there's nothing further I can do. I'm unlikely to be let off the hook with just another punch this time. Detective. Having allowed you to do as you please makes this my responsibility as well. You must surrender yourself to the captain at once. Isn't there anyone? A savior who will come to my aid in my darkest hour. I don't think even Susato can help you here. I beg you, please, just give me a little more time. Don't screw with me. The only thing I can do for you is show you to the solitary confinement cell. Damn it. Even if you're a big guy, you've got a lot of nerve. But I didn't do it. I'm not a murderer. What about the stowing away and breaking and entering? Well, things happen, you know? That's life. I knew it. Get a move on. There's a solitary confinement cell with your name on it. Isn't there anyone? A savior will come to my aid in my darkest hour. Mr. Holmes? What are you... Oh my god. I have no words. What the... What are you doing in a place like that? Sherlock Holmes-san! Is he wearing a tiara on top of his own hat? What? I just wanted to test out the weight of 20,000 rubles on my head. Being a detective requires a broad range of knowledge, you see. But never fear, I had no intention of stealing it. What were you doing hanging from the coat hook just a moment ago? Ah, I simply wish to experience the weight of 20,000 rubles. I thought I might be able to bend that hook sticking so snootily out of the wall. It's no good. I honestly have no idea what he's saying. You're the self-proclaimed famous detective. Hey there, Junior Detective. I've actually been looking everywhere for you. I have something to report that I really thought you ought to know. You weren't likely to find me hanging from the wall like that. Anyway, what is it? This information of yours. When the one giving it is a famous detective, there's only one thing a report could possibly contain. Namely, that I've just completely unraveled the mystery of the murder that occurred last night here on the RFS Alicray. And that is my report, gents. What did you say? I've successfully analyzed the situation to its conclusion. There can be no other possibilities. And now, I will reveal all to you. As a famous detective, using his famous detectiveness to, as a famous detective, make a famous deduction. That was a lot of famous and D words. I'm glad I didn't trip over those this time. Ah, you'll say you solved it. What claptrap. We've known who the murderer is all along. The stowaway there who wears those shackles so well. And that's the end of it. It wasn't me. However, there is simply no one else who could have murdered the victim. Let us recall that the cabin was bolted shut from the inside. It could only have been the other person who was already inside the cabin. In detective novels, this situation is known as a locked room murder. Right, is that one of those locked room thingies? Locked room. It's true. It's impossible for that bolt to be slid shut from outside the room. Unfortunately, that cabin was not completely closed off. Eh? There was one other entrance through which one could access the crime scene. And it was that other entrance that the killer used to commit their crime. So, by other entrance, you mean... Oh dear, and its mouth is gaping open right before your very eyes right now, and everything. That vent over there. The vent? This guy tells a hell of a joke. I couldn't even fit one of my arms into such a small opening. That's probably just a matter of your arms being too wide. If you claim that the killer was able to utilize such a small opening to enter the cabin, just who would have been capable of such a thing? Actually, last night, the victim spotted his killer.
Could you be referring to this bit recorded in Kazuma-sama's journal? 1:23 a.m. I hear a sound like a low whistle. 1:35 a.m. I can see a speckled rope inside the vent.
That's precisely right. A speckled rope? Just what does that refer to? The answer to that mystery is concealed within this very room.
Home-san, what on earth are you?
There's no cause for concern, although there may be a cause for shock. In just a moment, something fascinating will come slithering out for all to see. Right there! Ah! Whoa! It's a... snake? Allow me to introduce to all of you the fearsome identity of this speckled rope.
Is that
A snake? As you can clearly see. What's a snake doing on the ship? But that would explain all the markings on his face. I think we'll figure out what everyone needs to say to Home-san after this in the next video, because I think we are over time, and if the power goes out again, I don't want to lose this recording. So, we shall continue on into the next video about what the heck this snake is, and why is it here.